Hello there everybody and welcome back to falmunction Plays Dark Souls Remastered. We're just up against Nieto once again, this time a little more prepared. I got my Estus up to 20 once more, that's why I'm human, no other reason for that. I also got my crystal magic weapon out, and I should also just equip another. Wait a second. I gave away that catalyst, didn't I? I'll just wield it in my left hand, and if we go and wield some dark sorceries, we'll just have to do it without a shield. Seen all this? And I shouldn't have healed when I heard him put out the scream. Unfortunately, still not. Okay. Sort of. And I'm gonna die here. Almost. Almost died. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? We still have not even touched the big man himself. The problem is, I don't know if you can actually avoid. No riposte, it's my lucky day, okay. What was that even gonna do to me? His skeletons will come back over and over. Except, well, they will also come back even if he kills them himself. Problem is, I did unfortunately go up against the big ones. I did not want to draw their aggro. Oh, that was quite nice. Come on. Wasn't really hitting you there. But we're doing quite the number on him. I was not expecting this at all. Unfortunately, we're stuck here a little bit. And he's about to go down. Wow. Well, crystal magic weapon did the trick, it looks like. Thank you, Nieto. You were a lovely guest on our Dark Souls episode of the day. I was really expecting to go up against this guy multiple times. But there you go. Paladin gear. And where we once met the big boss to enter his covenant, now we just find a bonfire instead. Okay, well, let's read up on some lore, as we do. Although he's a key lord soul. Solo Grave Lord, Grave Lord Nieto, first of the dead. This Lord soul was discovered at the dawn of the Age of Fire. Grave Lord Nieto administers the death of all manner of things. The power of this soul is so great that it satiates the Lord Vessel despite the fact that much of its energy has already been offered to death. So, Nieto, he's an interesting one. Let's read the Paladin gear. Maybe it says something about him. Of course, way too many items on our... It never ends. Did I skip over it? I would just love to have a Dark Souls inventory where they just display the new ones at the top. The very top, so you can easily get to it. Helm of Leroy, Paladin of the Catacombs. Long ago, the Way of Wipe produced its first undead, A paladin in golden armor. With the legendary treasures Grant and Sanctus, Leroy set out for Lordran, Land of the Gods, in the first undead mission of the Way of White. The Way of White produced its first undead. That sort of means that they purposefully made Leroy undead. He was supposed to be like their secret weapon or something. Which we talked about briefly at some other point. Way of White being not as innocent as the name would suggest. Although actually, white in Japanese is, or in many Eastern cultures, is more of a connotation for death than anything. So it makes a lot of sense actually. Well, that's another Lord Soul down. Before we go to the last one, and I did save the worst for last, unfortunately, we want to go to a different area. One that we've seen before, but one that also yields a lot of secrets. So, Nieto, he's sort of... I mean, everything's not really black and white in Dark Souls, I would argue. It's very much laid out like that. But there are certain things that are more... how do I describe it? If there's any good guy in Dark Souls, in terms of the bosses, maybe Nieto would be it, and I'm not quite sure if that's due to the fact that I've played the other games where that lore has been expanded upon, because I can't really remember anything in particular that points toward it in this game. But as opposed to the other lords who were sealed in, by the Great Lord's power, whatever that means, I believe Nieto was there to begin with and wanted to stay there. And sort of in my interpretation, that seems like he's in silent protest, maybe, of what's going on. At least since the end of the war against the dragons, he has withdrawn from everything else. Really, somebody would have to show me the lore that actually, the item descriptions and all that points towards that, because I only can really remember things from the second game in particular. And I know it's hard to even get something conclusive out of the second game, because it's so loosely connected to the other games, but the way the Milfanito or Finito, who were very clearly like the reincarnation of Nieto, how they were portrayed, seemed like they were sort of kind of the good guys. Yeah, we had to come back here. It's Blighttown is much more of a hub than you would imagine. Let's put on the Ring of the Evil Eye, so we don't have to heal as much. We won't have to spend a lot of time here, but you'll see why in a second, if you don't know this already. I believe it's this pillar. And also once we're... Come down. You don't want to come down? Fine. Actually worked. Yeah, all of a sudden this lovely lady appears. I've made sure that that actually ends up happening by leveling up the Pyromancy Flame to +10. This is how you can guarantee that Quilana shows up. Hello.
Amia Undead, yet you can see me. Fascinating.
Indeed.
I am Quilana of Izalith. I am not often revealed to walkers of flesh. You have a gift. Are you too one who seeks my pyromancy, like Salomon?
Salomon, I'm not quite sure, but I thought Salomon was the guy who taught, what's his name? The other pyromancer we found. The one we found in at the entrance of the depths. Sure.
Yes, of course. It should be expected. Very well. You shall be my pupil, but to pursue my pyromancy, you must give something up. Are you prepared to do this?
Obviously. Always. It's a give and take. So, we want, actually, yeah, some of her pyromancies are in high demand for anybody who wants to get this game to full completion. So I'm just gonna buy her stuff, as long as I still have the souls to get it. I don't think you need to buy all of her inventory, but just getting all the ones that I do want is fine. You can also modify the we have to, well, we don't have to. By modifying the Pyromancy Flame to 15, she can then give you an advanced Pyromancy Flame, or whatever it's called, that's even better, but that then starts as +0. You have to level it up again until 15 if you want. But we're not a Pyromancer, so we don't really care. What can you tell me about yourself?
Long ago, I accepted another pupil like yourself. Over 200 years ago, there was a man almost as bungling as you. In your world, he was called Salaman, the Master Pyromancer. The little rascal really made something of himself.
Yeah, he's like one of the legendary pyromancers, and she talks about him like he's a little boy.
Pyromancy is the art of invoking and manipulating fire. But remember one thing. Always fear the flame, lest you be devoured by it and lose yourself. I would hate to see that happen again.
Poor woman.
Pyromancy is the art,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
I would hate...
I'm actually quite surprised she doesn't talk more about what she's all about.
Now go. Whatever you do, do not crack and go hollow, lest my time spent on you be wasted.
Oh, believe me, Greer is way too motivated by anger and revenge than being in any danger of going hollow. So, the thing about Quilana, even though I don't think she actually introduced herself, is that she is one of the Daughters of Chaos. If you remember, the bonfire we just came from is called the Daughter of Chaos bonfire. It's called that because there is a Daughter of Chaos employed as a firekeeper in there. The Fair Lady, as she's called. We don't know her real name. And of course her sister, Quelag, who we had to fight in order to get to ring the second bell of awakening, was also a Daughter of Chaos. So there's a lot of things going on with these daughters. In particular, because they are the daughters who, you can see the effects of the Chaos Flame on them. They were transformed. Oh, I thought we had talked to you already. Or is that somebody else? Let's investigate. Oh, it's not gonna let me. Let's go the R2. That's fair enough. I think this is somebody else. Yeah. Somebody dressed just like the guy I was expecting. Except you were on his trail, as was I. So let's just get rid of this rabble. I didn't forget about you, don't you worry.
The poison swamp.
What?
Like quicksand in there.
I could have sworn he was not the one with the spiked shield, but...
The poison swamp. Like quicksand in there.
Alright, so he just stuck around because we haven't actually advanced his plot line yet. Well, that's still fine and dandy. I thought it was his daughter for a second. Oh well. For some reason, yeah, I thought she was the one with the spiky shield and he was the one with the more traditional one, but it doesn't matter. We're just gonna go up this unassuming branch into this hollowed out tree trunk. Get an amazing item out of it. Except it's just a decoy. Oh my god! It's Twin Humanities. But wait. Oh my god! Secrets within secrets within secrets. Yeah, this is maybe the most top secret area in all of Dark Souls. We did get a glimpse of it actually when walking through what's it called? Through the Tomb of the Giants. On the left side there somewhere we saw a bunch of trees and mist, like huge trees. They were far, far away. But this area sort of ties together the whole world of Dark Souls. And unless you're reading the wiki, there's a pretty high chance you never got to see it. Or if you were watching people play the game, obviously. This is quite the treacherous area though, so we have to be careful. I would like to not have to go through this more than once, but I know myself and I know the dangers of Dark Souls are very much in the gravity. Also in the oh, this guy's gonna totally see us before we see him, or before we can get to him. Gravity is the most horrific enemy in Dark Souls, as you all well know. Curse is another really bad one, but it can be handled. Can beat them. The cool thing though is that most every item you see, well, not this one yet, but you have to go back up, is really, really good upgrading item. I think there's all manner of different colored... Oh! It just lets us slide off. Probably intended. Yeah, we get chunks here and red, white, and blue, and all sorts of upgrade materials. Now, it helps if you know where to go. This is a dead end. It's kind of weird. It is a labyrinth, except instead of dead ends, well, there are dead ends, of course, too, but instead of dead ends where you just don't know where to go and you have to turn back, you can just slide off and die. Anyway, I wasn't really finished yet talking about the Witch of Izalith and all the manner of hijinks she was up to. Of course, she is the one last lord that we have to slay. This is so awkward. That branch is just low enough for me to hit my head and slide off. I guarantee you. No, just watch your step here. And here we go. Yep. You didn't really think that would be lethal, would you? Oh well. Anyway, Witch of Izalith, one of the first lords. By the way, she and her daughters are, even though they might look human, are a completely different species. That's been confirmed by Miyazaki, I think, in interviews. They wanted them to look more the way they look in, for example, the cutscenes. How do I get down there? It does my souls. If you remember the cutscenes, they're sort of more pale and whatever. They're slightly off, so to speak. And I do wonder if we can slide onto this. Alright. Mission accomplished. So, basically the Witch of Izalith made a big mistake by trying to reignite the Age of Fire by recreating the first flame. Except instead of doing that, she created the so-called Chaos Flame. Bullshit. Well, no. Okay. We didn't get very far. That's why I'm not that perturbed just yet. So, by creating the Chaos Flame, she created the demons inadvertently, but she created them. Among which demons were her own daughters, unfortunately. The Fair Lady and Quelaag were both once witches and then hideous spider monstrosities. There was one more brother, actually, whom we haven't met yet, but will soon. And Quelana appears to be the only one that actually made it out. Look at this, by the way. This is... I don't know if it was an issue before the remastered version, but this is not, you know, like a weird shadow you can actually interact with. This is, in fact, the shadow cast by one of these bodies that you will find items on, and somehow the environment is transparent for some reason. I don't know. It's really distracting, especially considering in Dark Souls 2 there are honestly like shadow hollows lying around that you can just cut up and kill for some extra loot. But those ones are supposed to be there, and I'm completely turned around here. I would like that item down there, but I seem to be going in circles, unfortunately. So yeah, we don't know exactly what happened to the Witch of Izalith. There is one hint that we'll get later on, although it's not quite certain what that actually means. I have my own interpretation, as always. We're just going back up here. I don't know. It's been so long since I ventured into the Great Hollow. By the way, we'll talk about the Great Hollow and what it means maybe next episode. We'll see about that. So far, what I'm prepared to tell you is that it appears to be the origin of the basilisks. You have to get down there somehow. Let's just, yeah, try it out and then go this way. There's no boss here, by the way. That would be horrendous if you'd have to traverse this infuriating labyrinth just to get to the boss or whatever. Okay, wasn't quite sure. But that just leads back to that... We can just go back, fight the basilisks, I guess. Maybe that's where I'll get my my memory back. Oh. One shot. How nice. Would not like to have to fight them all three at once, if possible. Come on. One more thing maybe about the demons. Of course, they were a major nuisance for Gwyn, and maybe also because he was thinking it's kind of his own fault that that the witch... oh, it's an Eye of Death. It was sort of his own fault because the Age of Fire couldn't last forever, and that was their first experiment into making it whole again. I prevented myself from making a really bad comment there. But maybe because of that, he sent some of his best knights down there into the demon ruins, and they actually suffered losses. They had to retreat. So they couldn't even they couldn't match the demons, so to speak. The knights were burnt, and that's why we have black knights and we have silver knights. Silver knights were the non-elite version that were meant to stay at home and guard the... this is such an awkward placement for that thing. Meant to guard the homestead. I'm so lost. Let's go further down. Down seems to be the way to go. And take some leaps of faith. Maybe from the bottom of the burrow instead. Speaking of pyromancers, I forgot about Laurentius earlier. The guy, you know, the dude from the Great Swamp, which is not Blighttown. If we had told him where he could find the great Chaos Fireball that we got from the Daughters of Chaos bonfire, he would have gone down there and would have become hollow in the long run, trying to navigate Blighttown, unfortunately. Indeed, a fate that I'm very glad I can just avoid for him. It's not like we're missing out on anything. It's just that I guess his story doesn't have a conclusion at this point. He's just gonna stay around in Filing Shrine and wait for people to teach pyromancies to. Better than fighting in Blighttown, anything that moves and being poisoned and everything. He's a good guy. I like Laurentius, even though I had to be reminded of his name. Down you go. In later versions, in the Dark Souls 2 and 3, did they have Basilisks in 3? I guess so, yeah. They gave them physical attacks. See? He jumped on me, but it actually didn't matter. It doesn't deal damage. Careful about those holes. I just love this architecture with the Great Hall. Here's another blemish on the area with those stupid shadows. Here's the letter I was looking for. This area in particular exemplifies how vertical the design in Dark Souls is. And he didn't even know it was coming. Everything either moves up or down. From one area to the next, you're just gonna climb and descend. Which is kind of novel. Like, I don't know any other game that does that so prominently. And once we're down in the Great Hollow, we're all the way down, baby. Can't for the life of me remember how to get all these items. I'm not gonna try. No thanks. Maybe off camera I might do it. They don't let you see where you're going. But we can just go through the obvious way, which allows us to make progress, which is fine. Oh boy. Seen those mushroom caps before? Yeah. More shadows. Looking as awkward as ever. We can't just jump down, but I guess the corpses are way higher up. There you are, little rascals. I know I'm invading your home, but I'm just passing through, alright? I guess we can get one of them here. Nice little chunk. This is gonna be our last test in Great Hollow. We're almost at the bottom. Look like mangled out, like, I don't even know. Stupid, cute, little fungus creatures. I would like to not kill you, but you don't leave me any choice. Jesus. They're all gathering at the bottom of the stairs too. Very easy to die here. That's why I'm making this so much of a process. Because dying here and having to go back all the way from the top, it's just disheartening. One more? Two more? Like, I know myself, I would just be rushing and then falling off even more. There we go. And now we need our highest damage equipment to deal with Mummy, Daddy, and Uncle Phil. Oh yeah. Of course, Velka cannot be buffed. We need our BSS for that. Here we go. Let's see how much damage that does. Ooh. I guess he was overwhelmed by that. Oh. But only him. Gotta be mighty careful. I don't know if I showed you guys the last time we fought them in Darkroot Garden, but they pack a hell of a punch. Not to be messed with. Maybe I should R2 them. Yeah, it's doing some nice damage, but I'm a little at a disadvantage defensively. Ugh! The long wind-up. That leaves me exposed for even longer. Just let me through. Damn it. Even more. Okay. Tankiest creatures in all of Dark Souls. Excluding bosses, I was gonna say, but I'm not even sure of that. Especially those guys down here. They probably have a lot more HP than the other ones we've seen so far. Nothing here. But there should be some sort of exit. There you go. I was like, am I going crazy here? The last fog wall. Into Ash Lake. It's phenomenal. Breathtaking. Man, I love this area. And the music. I want to start gibbering about the other archtrees and what I think they mean and sort of base lore interpretations. There's a Hydra over there. But it's gonna be way too long for the remainder of this video. I'm gonna cut it short, just get to the bonfire. Look at this! Man! But we're just gonna go light up this bonfire that has been gracefully gifted to us, so you don't have to go back down through the big hollow once again. One last look. We've come all this way, you guys. Alright. Alright. Well, that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one where we check out Ash Lake. See you then.